Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my bro,
JR.
and we are the R&B representatives, and we are welcoming back one of our faves.
Mhm.
People say that all the time. The people no, really, one of our faves,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that is the young soul king
Um,
or Kang, depending on how you feeling.
yes.
Kamani.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing today?
Fine.
Good, good,
We are
good.
doing pretty good.
Mhm.
Yes.
hmm
So we're just gonna jump into it because folks don't know you by now. I just can't.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Oh,
you
Oh,
like this is the third rep at this point,
yeah.
but
that part. That part.
Oh, I appreciate it.
yeah, you and Zoe is honorary reps at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, how about you tell us what song you picked to talk about and when you remember first hearing it?
Oh wow. It took me a long time to figure out, what else, like as far as an individual song could I talk about?
Mhm.
And I picked I Want You Back by the Jackson Five. Um, I was like, because last time I was on here, I talked about Marvin, I talked about Stevie, I talked about Teddy. I'm like, how can I not talk about the solo artist that started it all for me? Well, the group that started off for me was the Temptations, but the solo artist that started off for me was Michael. And I was thinking, I was like, Mike got too many bangers, he got too many hits. What can I possibly talk about when I boil down to one song? How can I talk about Michael? And I was like, you know what? Why not just go back to the very beginning? Well, not the very beginning, but like from a mainstream standpoint, the beginning
Right.
of
Right.
what we know this guy to be. So I was like, I
Mhm.
picked I Want You Back. And the funny thing about I Want You Back is, you know, I had the number ones DVD. I played all his essentials, all the essential music videos, and I'm 6, 7 years old. I'm just mesmerized by just who he was as an entertainer, a singer, performer, just a full package. And then just as the years went by, my love for Michael just started to grow, and I started discovering more songs. I'm like, dang, he got this song, he got this song. I was like, this guy is not missing once. Like, and I had the Dangerous CD in my mom's car. Every time we would go on a road trip, like that would be the main album that would be played. And when when I had my computer time, me and my sister shared a computer at the time, and when I had my computer time, you know, I would be in my music bag and I'd look into Michael and I was watching, I want to say it was on one of his home videos, one of the films that he did there. And he talked about his time growing up in Gary, Indiana and the Jackson Five. And they showed, it was the performance from the Ed Sullivan Show from 1970. Like he's got on this red, it's Lil Mike, he got the red,
Yeah.
he got the bracelet and the ring. I'm like, they had this man iced out at like 12 years old. I'm like, and he just walked up all cool, like he'd been here before. And he was just like, when I had you to myself. I'm like, whoa, okay. And that was the first time I heard a snippet of the song. And the funny thing about me hearing the whole song is one of my favorite shows as a young teenager was Victorious. It was on Nickelodeon. And it was an episode where they were in some other country and they were in prison for a little bit, and for them to escape, or not for them to be released, they had to like satisfy like the king or something, and they sung that song. And it made me go back and listen to the full song, the original song. And I heard the song, and no, it was the Hollywood Palace performance. That's the one that I always refer back to
The
because they got on
Hollywood
the
Palace.
green, they got on that
Yeah.
chartreuse green with the pink flamingo shirt.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
two, oh, they look so good. And that was like the television debut too. I'm like, wow. And actually, even before that, I think I saw the American Dream. I saw it randomly. I was watching TV with my mom and grandma,
Mhm.
and we were going through the channels, and they were showing scenes from the American Dream. I'm like, oh, they just have a whole movie. Like he's just, wow, okay, he's on that level. They got a movie, a miniseries about him. So, when I Want You Back, it was just even the intro, like it just you already know what time it is. Like they and me for me to realize that okay, they were on Motown too, and this is me already into Stevie, Marvin, and the Temps. So I was like, they were on Motown too. Like who wasn't on Motown in the '60s?
Right.
I'm like everybody named I was on Motown. That was the go-to place, huh? So they was like, yeah, that was it. So um me realizing that made me love Michael even more. I'm like, wow, like no wonder like he was just so great from the get-go. Like he started in the Motown school and then worked his way up to Philly and then, just he was there like in all forms and shifts of Black popular music. And he was just there from 69 to '09. It's like, whoa. Like he was there. Basically seen it all, like all the shifts in modern music. So that's just like wow. Like his staying power, and for him to be relevant for this long, and even after him being gone, like it just made me like realize, man, from the get go. And I think with Motown, I think what they saw in Mike and the brothers, like they were just so special. I was like, we got to get a hit for them out the gate.
Mhm.
And I Want You Back, like I said, with the intro, it's already, you already know what time it is because you already know what time it is. It just gets your attention just like that. And it's so funny, like seeing, like you go to cookouts or you go to just family gathering, they play that song, and you got a couple kids going around. You already know what's going on. I was like, come on, do the dance. I can never do that without this right here, the choreography, man. Like it was just so like it's just a cultural staple for us, really. And I really appreciate that. And and Mike is like what, 10, 11 years old, singing like a grown man in a little boy's body.
That part.
I think, oh man, I couldn't take it. And I didn't even realize like the lyrics for real until like when I got a little bit older, especially that second verse. I was like, why y'all giving this kid these grown man lyrics?
Well,
So
Like,
gross.
oh my God. Like I'll get into that in a little bit so I can let y'all speak, but like that's just one of my, every time I hear it, I can never not skip it. All
right.
because of the energy that it gives me and just how happy it makes me because it just takes me back to like when I first heard it. So yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Kamani, when you picked this record, I was sitting thinking like, was the first time I heard this song? I can't tell you, to be
Yeah.
honest, because I felt like the Jackson 5 was always a part
Always
of my
there.
life. Like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you when the first time, like, oh my God, I heard it. It was like, boom. It was like, I try to think about it and I'm like, no, I can't give you a time. It was like they was always a part of my life. Like I've always heard them. You know what I mean? So when you picked this, it was just like, I was stunned for a second, which you do a lot on this show. Yes. And, and I was just sitting there like, when did I hear I Want You Back first? And I couldn't. And now, like you said, you brought up the Hollywood Palace video. And when they did it on there, and of course, everybody goes to the Ed Sullivan show.
Right.
And you know what I mean? So that was that. But I was just like, yo, this song is just so like everything to me. And it's kind of like me being a kid. It was like I probably was singing this at like 3 and didn't even freaking know. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just played. And then, my mom was actually, my mom is weird. Sorry, mom. But she actually liked Marlon more than anybody.
Gotcha.
I'm like,
I know
just
everybody
be
favorite.
different.
Yeah.
She's just so different. Like I'm like, out of all of them, like Marlon.
But you're not thinking about age-wise. Think about groups, the 80s and ahead, and like the heartthrob groups.
Right.
Each member has a certain personality. That's what they put in the magazines.
Yeah.
So everybody picks like their favorite. Just like, oh, this is my favorite New Edition member, and and then the white boy bands, they be like, this is my favorite New Kids on the Block, and this is my favorite. Like that was such a thing. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Good. You took up for her. That was good. And with how you did that. That was good. Take up for her.
Right. And with J5, like it's different. Like with J5 was, he had the different age groups. Jackie had like, the oldest. He was like 18. And then you had Tito and Jermaine, 15, 16. And then Marlon and Michael and in that 10, 11, 12 range. So like that was for every range of, of the girls that were like.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said he sounded so confident on the record, and he did. He sounded so confident. You could tell James was very influential for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just how he came in. Man, it's like, whoa.
Like even that little,
you 11 years old. Like, what you talk about?
Like even that little moan in the beginning, like,
yeah,
like you're just like,
11 years old. Like his brain was born to do this.
Yeah,
like he was born for this.
He came from that school of those like soulful, like the David Ruffins, the James, the Jackie Wilsons, like, and you know, I feel like that little pocket between like 69 and early 71, that was like him trying to figure out his own self in that, you know what I mean? It was like, you know, you could hear like he was trying to imitate just a teeny little bit. It was still Michael, but like you could tell he was born a little bit from, and then when you get to him being in his teens and his adulthood, it's like, oh, this is Michael. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Once he got with Gamble and Huff, it was a wrap.
Yeah, his confidence grew, and then him going with the Wiz, like he just But just that, like even with like the confidence, like even with like the song Big Boy from '66.
Yes.
Yeah, like even then, like he was confident. It's like 3 years early. He's like 8. So like, they was just And with I Watch It Back, I think one thing that really got me, like the more I listened to it, I love the harmonies on that record.
Oh yeah.
Like Jackie on top or whoever was like Jermaine, like the harmonies, very underrated.
Oh yes.
Underrated. I love it. Yeah, they and even then the second verse oh man. Just the way that song is arranged, harmony, music, like it just, the energy, it just stays like there's no low point in the song. Well, with the exception of like the bridge, and then it builds back up. So like it's just in your face for a good however long the song is. Yeah. And you know, and then the back and forth with Michael and Jermaine. Like I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Michael about to lead this whole song. He about to go in, and then here come Jermaine, sounding like a grown man himself, on the bass, and like, oh, just one more chance, like, and then Michael screaming, and then Jermaine going off, and he raspy in the voice.
That was church.
It was just they were so raw back in the day, and then they kind of lightened up because they were getting older, but the producer was still trying to give them that bubblegum stuff. But that pocket, but the J5 pocket from like 69 to like early 72, that's kind of like their peak as far as the bubblegum stuff. And then it got just a little too out of hand. But when I Want You Back and ABC and Love You Save, like that's J5, like pre Get It Together J5, like that was their best like pocket to me. And with I Want You Back, I think another thing that really got me, after I saw The Summer of Soul, and they were talking about how pivotal 69 was, well, 68, 69, I realized, I was like, these guys came at such a perfect time too. You know, with, 69, you coming off of Dr. King getting shot. And then I think, JR, you even talk about 67. Like, that's just as pivotal. Like, before Dr. King got shot and then after King got shot, there's a difference. But with 69, it was like, you got the afros going. They had the afros coming out on Hollywood Palace, instead of the matching suits. The next show they do on Ed Sullivan, they got the psychedelic outfits. It's just they were just part of that new cultural shift that came at the right time. And aesthetic wise, it just looked very pleasing, I guess. And, it's just, it makes you think, I was like, Michael and those guys were out here changing the culture at like 11, 12, 13 years old. And it's just amazing. It's very inspiring for someone young like me to just, make that change. No pun intended. But yeah.
Okay. But somebody come out here and pick Man in the Mirror so I can act a whole monkey.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But a big thing I remember on my childhood, the Jackson 5 cartoon was a syndication, and it used to play all the time. So I used to always watch it, repeats and all, like, as short as the show, but they would just run it over and over and over again, and it was cute. Yeah. But speaking back to like that psychedelic, because it was a very like psychedelic looking cartoon, it was kind of abstract in the artwork, and so yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's such a cool little show.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that's what Janet, because Janet was like, that's when she realized her brothers was fucking big when it was a cartoon. Like, she was like, at that time, she like, oh, my brothers is whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm sitting at the TV watching their cartoon, like, they big as shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, that whole psychedelic thing.
Yeah.
And to me, and I don't know if you agree, Kemani, I feel like the corporation was definitely inspired by Norman Whitfield to me, because Norman Whitfield knew, he was always up in the clubs. He knew what was going on. Shift. Barry wanted to kind of stay what they were doing. And mind you, 67 is very big for Motown because that's when Holla Doja Holla left. You know what I mean? So now Norman Whitfield is that guy. He's the one everybody's pushing. So now you got these new kids that's coming in. You don't know what to do with them, because before them, when Bobby Taylor brought them in, well, first Gladys saw them, then Bobby brought them in, and then it was like they were doing covers and they were doing all that, and it was like Barry was like, well, wait a minute, maybe we could do something. Like, we need to give them something of doing covers, because we all know at least Motown is good for that. Everybody and their mother was doing. You had 3 people doing one song.
Them songs getting passed around like the communion plate.
Yes, like you. Whoever performed it better, it's gonna be a single, but it's still gonna be on your album, though.
Yeah. It's like, we gonna throw everything against the wall, see what stick. That's what we put now.
Right. So when Barry saw that, because y'all know I Want You Back was actually for Gladys first.
I just read about that. I was like,
yes, it was for her.
I can hear it. Can't
you?
When I had you to myself, I didn't want you around. Yeah, I can
hear it.
I can believe it.
It was like, totally, I can hear Gladys singing this record. And then it was like they were going to give it to Diana.
The pitch just going on. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
It could. Oh God, that could work. That's why when I heard, I was like, oh yeah, I could see, especially with the stuff they was giving Gladys at the time, because Motown wasn't doing Gladys and them right. They were kind of like the bead sides, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They weren't doing them too well. So to get a song like I Want You Back, you can kind of hear them it kind of gives you like the nitty gritty type of vibe that they have, or It's All Over, but the shouting, like all of those records, it's like I Want You Back will make sense.
Yeah.
But Barry was like, you know what? We need to get something for these kids, because finally he saw it. Because in the beginning he didn't really see it, because with Stevie, he wasn't making a lot of money off Stevie. He wanted to try to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So finally he see these kids, and he finally like, wait a minute, it's something about that little boy. Like, we gotta get this right. And then when he was like, well, let's get the corporation together, him and and Freddie and Alfonso and all of them, and get them all together and be like, let's create something for these kids. And when we reworked I Want You Back, it makes sense. And that's why now when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, this could have been for Gladys. Because like you said, Kemani, in the beginning, it's a grown ass song if you think about it. Like, it's grown, it's shit. But they made it so bubblegum that it works. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like this 11-year-old boy singing like this. Like,
that second verse really hit different when I got older. Like, really analyzing those lyrics. I was like, he said, every little street you walk on, I leave tear stains on the ground, following the girl that I didn't even want. You got this 11-year-old boy crying in his bunk bed he's sharing with Marlon. And it's like, why y'all write that? Same thing with Never Can Say Goodbye. Like, even though the pain and heartache seem to follow me wherever I go, like, it's like, Jesus Christ, why making this 11-year-old boy sing this?
I think they was putting their own life into these songs, and he probably was there. Because remember, Tevin said that too. He was like, Michael Warden and all that, they were going through their own shit. So they was putting it into the songs, and he's singing it. It's like, wait a minute. When you think about songs like Tell Me What You Want Me to Do, you like, little boy, you don't know about this shit. Like, come on. So, for that second verse on I Want You Back, Michael ain't know about this shit, but you can tell he was so hungry and didn't have. Like, he just wanted to sing, and that's what it was. So he put his all oomph into it. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, That's why, and then he's it's so confident. That's what the basis of this for me is. Michael sounds so confident, and it's their first single. It's like you knew he was born to do this because they give this to a lot of other people that they said was born to do this. Hey grandma, hey girl. But you know, it's just like he was born for this. Like just off this, like you said, Kemani, the beginning of ooh, a little boy doing that. Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
But they kind of had to get us some grown songs because after a while, the ABC and the Rockin' Robin was just not going to hold people. The novelty would have worn off to me.
Exactly.
Right.
I can understand that, definitely.
You know, it's as fun and great as those songs are too, but you know how people are.
Yeah.
That's why they was throwing so many songs out at one time. And you know, that's what people used to suck as interviewers when they used to them, you know, white guys used to interview Michael. And remember they asked them one of the I'm like, why would you even ask that? But you got to realize they don't understand us really.
Exactly.
And they sat up there and asked them, well, have you did so many songs so you know when your voice changed? And it's like, didn't your voice change too?
Right.
Your voice is going to stay the same forever?
Exactly.
Your voice is going to grow. Like, why would you even ask them a question like that? Like, it irks the hell out of me. I'm like, no, he's not gonna sound like I want you back forever. Exactly. Don't your kids grow up too? Like
pretty much. Yeah.
And then they started getting sick of that because even though you said like Get It Together, that's actually my favorite Jackson 5 album. Honestly, I love that album so much. I love that album because you could tell like that was the sound of the change.
Yeah, that's the sound that they've always wanted. That was the album that they always wanted to make, but they were just putting that bubblegum box and they were just tired of that. I'm like,
yeah, they just like, yo, I want to. And then now they working with, and then they starting to work with Stevie and being around him and all that. But yeah, but I Want You Back, yo, that's just anytime it plays, I let it rock. Like this is a song. I think Elise said that on somebody, one of our episodes, that it's a song that you will never get sick of hearing.
Yeah.
I think it was If You Love Me by Brownstone. You was like, that's a song that you will never get sick of. Yeah. And I Want You Back, as bubble gum as it is, it still has a soul to it.
Right.
And Michael killing it, and it just makes you feel good. So yeah, I love this record. I do. I really do.
They were little soul brothers. That's how they.
Yes, they were.
Always there.
They were.
And like I said, yes, it is kind of bubble gummy, but no, but it's a substantive song. It's layered, it's nuanced.
Yeah.
People say bubblegum, but it don't really sound. I mean, I know what you mean, but I don't know. It's intricate and interesting and musical, and from the vocals to the composition.
Yeah.
Like it's so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the brightness of the production mixed with the deepness of the lyrics. That's really what Motown is just a master at. Upbeat tunes with sad lyrics. Oh yeah.
You be thinking that these songs are happy songs, and it's not. If you really get into these lyrics of Motown, the biggest records, you be like, you thinking like Baby Love and all that shit. And it's like, no, listen, read them lyrics. Some lyrics are some sad ass shit, like for real. Like,
it's like someone picked you from the bunch. One glance was all it took. Now it's much too late for me to take a second look. Come on, yo.
And he begging, begging one more chance. Like, dude, I know this is not happening?
I was blind to let you go, but now that I see you in his yeah. Oh my God.
And now that I think about it, it wasn't even so much that there's a Jackson 5 bubblegum. It's just the Motown thing of the not wanting to do the next musical thing.
Yeah.
And because the Jackson 5 sound like how all the grown folk on their sound. So it wasn't that it was kiddish. It was just that was the vintage Motown sound, and they wanted to break out of that. They especially teenagers like, yo, no, we out here, you know.
And you know another thing when I Want You Back, like when they came on the scene, like you notice there's another movement of like these young kid groups, and they're trying to find that that new, like their version of the Jackson 5. Like there was this group called like there was Jimmy Brasco and the Little Beavers, I think.
Oh wait.
Then you see the Silvers come on. Like they were I mean they were around around the same time when Jackson 5 first came up and started training. But like you see like they came a little bit later, and you got the Osmonds with One Bad Apple. Like
right. And then each of them was sending each other songs, and it was just like, who got it first, and it was just a mess.
It was a lot. I think even the Pondasora trend, the Pondasora twins, the song "Bound" that people sample all the time. Yeah,
yes.
Like even that was just, you know who they was trying to do.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
It was the blueprint.
Yeah.
And I think it's so crazy that we never got like a group like this before. Think of the ages, like y'all just said. Yeah. It was like from 11 to 18.
Yeah.
And it worked. Like they made it work. Like it's just like, how do you do that? Because they tried to do it. Oh God, what's this new group that came out? And I rock with them, but they not together anymore. Next Town Down. And they a group, and it was like they ranged from like, I think the boy was probably 12 when they started, and then you had somebody that was 18, and they were great, like they were dope to me, and I talked about, and they always reminded me of the Jackson 5 because of the age range and all of this, but Motown had a way of promoting and doing all that.
Yeah.
You got these labels now that kind of really didn't know where to put them, especially now. And it's kind of like Motown's promotion staff and all that, Suzanne DePass and all them, like they were brilliant. That was brilliant because that could have went completely bad.
Really would have.
You know what I mean? It could have went bad because it could have been like, you got this little boy singing and then you got his older brother. How are the fans are going to work? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
But if you think the later groups that had that kind of makeup would be like more modern groups would be like Soul for Real, the Boys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely the Boys.
But they learned from that how to market it because everybody had a crush on a different one depending on how old you were.
True that. Oh yeah.
So yeah. So you know, there's a few other groups that modeled that Jackson 5 blueprint.
But I Want You Back is such a great song. Like, I just, and how, like you said, Kemani, how it comes in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes you just feel good. You know what I mean? And once that hit, they was like, "Oh, we got to keep these boys going." Like
ABC, Love You Say, I'll Be there. 4 straight number ones out the gate.
4 straight.
And across
and nothing is better than hearing an HBCU band play it.
Oh yeah.
You ain't lying, girl.
That's the truth right there.
Oh my God. Yeah. Musically, when the bands are doing it like at a homecoming or something, it'd be so awesome, man.
Oh man.
I didn't go to a black college, but my mom did, so I was there with her. So I got to experience the black college. So
I won't hold that against you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh God, I can't with you. Oh, man.
So Kemani, let the folks know how they can find you, and then we'll put all your links into the video description so they can check you out.
I'm waiting on the podcast. That's what I'm waiting for. But go ahead.
Oh, it's on the way. We're just life be life, and we just gotta.
That's true.
Gotta get ourselves together before we can come back. We're kind of taking a break, but our content is already set up, and once we get the ball rolling, it's gonna be up there. So, oh yes, the soul's on. We're gonna be on the way. But you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Kemani_0718. And I'll say, yeah. For next year, I'm gonna try to rebrand my TikTok page, Monty the Music Man, just to share my record collection and things of that nature. Just when things start to slow down a bit, that's when I'll be creating content for you guys. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Yes. So We are so thankful, of course, for Kemani, and we're thankful for all our viewers who keep rocking out with us. Make sure check us out, rnbreps.com. Follow, like, subscribe, share. Share. Anything that we do and bring us some more cousins over to the family. We really, y'all make it even more great. So
yeah.
So me and JR will catch you on the next Catch That.
That was so dope. As usual, come on.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my bro,
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives. And today we are welcoming back third time guest?
Yes, third time.
Yeah.
Okay, we welcome back Tri on the 3P, the Tri-P.
What's going on?
What's up? How you doing?
Chilling. How y'all doing?
I'm doing well. So before we get started, if people didn't catch your other two appearances, which did great numbers, by the way, tell them a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into it.
Well, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I love music of all kinds and content creator as well, and just here to spread the culture in the right way, and yeah, that's about it.
Yes. Well, how about you tell us what song you picked for us to talk about today and when you remember first hearing it?
I picked a song from the group Black Ivory. I actually have the album. Let's see here.
Oh yeah, he's stunting. Oh, he is stunting. But go ahead.
It's kind of beat up, I had to tape it up the album cover, but yeah, it's from the Don't Turn Around album from '72. And originally, I wanted to talk about You and I because that's a great love song, and I was reminded by that sample by Q-Tip because he used it for Getting Up.
Yes, he did.
Renaissance album, and that was a big hit off of that album. And when I was playing the album, I was reminded by that sample. And then there was another great song on here that I love, and it's called "I'll Find a Way." Loneliest Man in Town, and that was recently sampled by Boldy James, and for his he's recently got signed to Griselda, and it was on a song called New Wave, and that was my favorite song from the Versace tapes, and I feel like when we have these discussions about R&B groups, you don't really hear people mention Black Ivory, and I wanted to shed some light on them and just get people familiar if they don't know about Black Ivory. They can go back and check out the album.
Oh, God. Come on, Tri. That's what I'm talking about. Give the people the unknown. That's what I love this. This is my ish right here. I'm so.
And then he got the nerve to have the vinyl.
Okay.
Yep.
You better turn it to the back, Tri. I know that.
I love it. Yes. Own it.
Okay.
No, but that's so dope. I'm just like, when you pull it out, I was like a fucking Muppet. So yeah.
Oh shit. Yo, it was so dope when we saw that you wanted to talk about Black Ivory, because like you said, nobody talks about them at all. You know what I mean? And I got my reasons on why, which we'll get into, but I actually got into them because of the cover that they did of Got to Be There.
Right.
That's what I got into them, because Michael, and it was the Jacksons, but he was by himself, but whatever. But he did that. But I actually like their version because I like the ending, the tempo change.
Right.
It's a tempo change at the end, and I'm like, they did that shit. So then that sent me down like a rabbit hole on them. So I was like, I'm going to check them out. So I went and listened to the Don't Turn Around joint, which is actually was my favorite song until you until this one. And y'all obviously gonna know why. Because when Don't Turn Around, I would say that Leroy gave to Russell Thompson from the Stylistics a run for his fucking money.
Yeah.
That falsetto is nothing to play with. I was like, well, damn, because y'all know on here before I get it out, because y'all know how I do with groups, but I'm not like that anymore. Thanks to my sister Lise. But I'm not like that because I ain't with all these begging groups and all this kind of stuff. So now I'm listening to things with different ears now, even though I knew Black Ivory, but I'm listening to different ears now. And these groups, they all had something different. It was just, they were marketed the same. And that was really what was throwing me. You know what I mean? But when I heard I Find a Way, the loneliest man in town, them damn horns.
Yeah.
What? Listen to me. Yo, them horns is nuts. And I have to shout out the late Patrick Adams. Like, what he did for them, because he was the manager, but he was the producer, and he played all the instruments. He played the piano on there. He played the horns on there. He played the damn keyboard. He probably swept the floor in the studio. Like, he did all that shit, yo. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like and I always bring this song up, Stevie Wonder's I Wish, and how everything on the song shines. And on this record, the piano had his little shine. The horn had his shine. We know Leroy is begging down. Like, if he was, and mind you, I think when he got with the group, he was like 16.
Right, he was young.
And I'm like, and he's singing like this, he already feel like he begging already. Like, this is what this is. Like, this song is dope. It's really my favorite joint from them, for real. So when you came and picked this joint, I tried to go online to find this vinyl, and I got it in my my wish list on Discogs. So I found it for like 20 bucks on Discogs. So I was like, I'm gonna cop this joint. And then I'm gonna post it on my social media so people can say all they want about me in groups. It's cool, but yeah, I love this record. That's why I really love it, because of the instrumentation of it all is amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Like what you said, like the horn section and Leroy's falsetto is like the main meat and potatoes of this track, and it's just real soulful. And even when I heard the Boldy James sample, he just like took that part of when Leroy's doing the chorus, and it's just that's the whole track. And I was like, oh, that just stuck out to me, and it's just one of those tracks that it's unforgettable and became my favorite on the album.
So are you talking about the West Side Gun sample?
Well, Boldy James got signed to Griselda. That was off their first Griselda release, the Versace tape, and it's a song called New Wave on that album, and he sampled The Loneliest Man in Town. That it's on. I want to say West Side Gun is on that track too.
No, but they did a later song, and it's called Buffs versus Wires, and it has Benny the Butcher, Conway, and Boldy is on there too.
Okay. I don't know if I heard that one. I might have heard it and just forgot about it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to send it to you.
Okay.
Because I was like kind of shocked, and I went to listen to it. I was like, oh wow! And they use the whole. They don't use no piece. They like.
Yeah.
They have some original stuff in the like a sped up a little bit sample.
Right.
It was so funny, because that's why it was funny when you brought up Griselda, because sis, what did you text me today when we were talking about this record? What did you say? You was like,
I said, is Charlie a Griselda fan?
I am. I love them, definitely. And I started listening to them like maybe 2015, 2016. And like I think the Hitler Wears Hermes 4 was like the first time I heard any West Side Gun project, but like I was listening to everything that they do. Like, they're just great.
Yeah, But that was exactly what I sent to JR.
Yeah.
I was like, I think so. I was like, I think he is. I was like, and you was like, that's why he probably liked this record. And I was like, so when you came in and said it, that's why I said, sis, you're good. I was like, you're good. I was like, you're good. I was like, you're good.
They have some of the best samples. Like they just make some of the best, take some of the best songs and make it out of samples. And having the Alchemist and Damage on their team, that helps too.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm like a casual Griselda fan. So I kind of dip in for a little bit, hop out, kind of come back to it. So when I saw that was a sample, I was like, that makes sense, because that like the producers they work with like really pick some really great sampling for them. And then it gives like this dark, like almost how you used to feel about Wu-Tang in the beginning. Like it's just dark, like it was in a wet basement. Like
it still sounds gritty. They still have that gritty, real hip hop sound to it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With Black Ivory, God, I'm acting like I'm talking about black soap or some shit. But I'm sorry, man. But blame it on this, y'all. Please blame it on this. But when I heard this, it sounded like when they recorded this at Sigma Studios, that everybody else was recording that. The stylistics was poor, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's where everybody was doing their shit at, you know what I'm saying? So it had that feeling, you know what I mean? But I think the reason why they didn't blow, I felt like, because they knew they home, they from Harlem, like they the home team. But I think they didn't blow because I think everybody felt like they was following the stylistics in a way, because it felt like the same sound to me. You know what I'm saying? Even though that Don't Turn Around is nothing to play with at all. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a dope record.
Definitely.
But you know what? The only thing I feel they have in common with the stylists is like when you actually sit and listen to it. Yes, the lead vocal, but everything else sounds different.
That's true. That's very true. The harmonies and the backgrounds are totally different.
Totally different.
It's not the same. But that just goes to show you how they are marketed. And that's what was throwing me off about all of the 70s groups. It was marketed the same because their backgrounds was completely different from the stylistics. And the stylistics was definitely different from the Dramatics and the Manhattans and all that. Everybody had different styles, but they marketed them the same. So you thinking, oh, that Leroy is damn near Russell Thompson. So everybody was just like, oh, they copying. You know what I mean? And to have, it sounded like when this record was put out, because I think Everything was already out by the stylists by this time, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it was out. So they like, oh man, they following them. And then obviously you got Tom Bell that's down with Philly. So they got that Philly push behind them rather than them. They're on this label that nobody really knows about. You know what I mean? And they ain't got no backing behind them. You know what I mean? Because I was on YouTube and they got this video of them being on WWORL. You know about that tribe? The AM station 1600. Like my grandparents used to listen to that shit all the time. And I think that's where they were getting played. So they were regional, but they wasn't worldwide because of that push. And like Sis said in one of our other videos where it was like the whole thing with SWV and TLC kind of thing. It was like SWV just had a poster over there, but TLC had everything in the front and you saw everything and more money was pushed behind them. You know what I mean? So Black Ivory didn't have that. You know what I mean? Which sucks.
They recorded the album at Sigma Sound and Blue Rock. So it has that, legendary studios.
Yeah. I think if they would have had more money behind them, they would have popped. They would have popped because they dope, yo. Like I said, I love what they did with Got to Be There. I love what they did to that, yo, because obviously Michael is gonna have all the push behind him having with Motown. and people not understanding the difference in production that song is, it makes me like theirs better than his.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's why they went under the radar, because it was so many 70s black groups. And this is 72. So you got the Stylistics, then you got the Dramatics, then you got the OJs coming in, you got How Melvin the Blue Notes, and it was just, the 70 groups was cranking, and it was like, if you didn't have that behind the money, then you kind of got lost in the sauce. But they dope as hell. Like, just to sit and vibe with them, it was just like, and that's what instrumentation to me in the 70s was at its best.
Right, I agree.
Once the 80s came along and technology started happening, it took away from somebody in the studio playing the drum, somebody in the studio playing the horn. And it just, it especially with a song like this, it brings you in. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, the way he begging, I was just like, well, damn, I feel you, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, that joint's dope.
I think it's mostly his voice. Like, that falsetto just do it to you. When you hear his voice, and you know, you can hear like the heartache in his falsetto.
Oh,
you know?
Man, this is like the saddest song. Like, we talk about the history of it, we ain't talk about the song itself.
Right. It's sad.
It's like I felt a little misty for old boy. Like what you do to that girl to make her leave you like that?
Like, I mean, we needed a part 2. Like, what did you do to that woman?
You know, I need a follow up. That's a whole soap opera getting ready to get started. It's about to get good.
Especially with the fact I told y'all that dude was like going in. I want her to come back. I need her so. I want her so. Like, I was like, well, bag little 16-year-old. I hear you.
Said I'm the loneliest man in town.
The title alone is sad, you know, like that.
Right.
Only one in town. He's the only lonely man in town, you know.
Like not the loneliest nigga on the block. Not in all of town.
Whole town. It's sad.
That dude sounds sad as shit, though. Thinking about it, like, see, that's the difference with me. I'm trying to find some happy in the record with the damn instrumentation and shit. And this motherfucker, like, I'm the loneliest person in town, like,
in his whole city, y'all. This nigga is by himself, yo.
Why are you like this? I mean, and at 16, how does he even feel that, though?
Hey, a lot can happen real quick. Some people are more sensitive and sentimental and all of that. Everybody feel different, so.
You think I would know that, right?
One would think, yeah. But yeah.
Oh God. Oh my God. So Tri, would you so this is what, the only album you like from them? Do you like the one after this?
The one I forgot the name of that one too. That one was good. I believe I have that. I gotta check. I think I have that also. But this no stunt. But this one, like I said, like I was listening to the whole album, and then I came across like 4 other samples. Like RZA also sampled another track.
Yes.
I keep asking you questions. That was for the Criminology joint.
Yeah.
Sample like that bass line, and I love Cuban Link. That's a classic itself. But you know, when you have like an album like this that goes under the radar, and then when you could play it back and hear the samples off of this album, record, it's a phenomenal soul album. So, you know, I hope people, you know, go back and check this record out.
I would ready with it too.
Just by you picking this, you just open the door for a whole bunch of people.
Yes, he did. Yes, he absolutely did.
It made me go back and listen, you know, because I haven't listened to any of that in ages.
Me too. It was a minute. So we saw it. I was just like, damn, I got to go back and listen to this. I forgot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, damn.
That's why I like when we get these, like, you know, forgotten records or underappreciated records that people pick, because it's like you just like gave it a whole new life.
And I love R&B from the 70s. I just think it hit different from like when you hear the 80s R&B and 90s R&B was a whole different era, but 70s R&B was still pure and soulful.
Yeah, it's pure.
The best era, period.
I agree.
Yeah, and it was the best era for several genres, actually, not just R&B. Like, that was a special time in history.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Well, Tri, we thank you for joining us once again and making us dig deep. We like that.
Thank you. It's always great to be on here. You know, I hope to come down here for my first time again.
Listen,
of course.
Come on now.
And then I'm gonna take you back to the 60s.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, you're going back.
Oh, I love this.
Try taking us in the way back machine.
Yes.
and it's been a hell of a ride.
Okay.
But yes, Tri, tell people how they can find you, your various shows and projects and things. Please share those.
You can find me on Instagram at Triboro_Gigolo, and I do stuff with 80s, 90s, and 2000s vibes. Podcast, me on YouTube, and be on different audio streams, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Yeah, we're on audio streaming. You can follow us also on Instagram. And also you can follow my channel on That Ain't Rap Podcast on YouTube. I kind of neglected my channel, so I got to restart that up again. And you know,
I wasn't gonna say nothing, but
I know. But yeah, I gotta restart that.
Because he be out here busy though, for real.
Yeah.
You know, get back to regular live streams and videos. So look out for that. And you know, shout out to my homie Reg Thompson from North Carolina. I do stuff on his channel also on YouTube. REG Reg. Shout out to him. So yeah, find me on those platforms.
Yes. Well, we also thank our viewers who always be hanging out with us and learning right along with us. We really appreciate y'all. So subscribe, share, and like. Bring us some more family. We are always open to some more cousins over here. So we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Hey.